Hello and welcome to Rollbound. My name is Chas and I am the DM for this wonderful group. We're going to go down the list and everyone introduce themselves, starting off with Groove. Introduce yourself.
Hello, I am Groove and I am bound to the role of Chronoharist Mobius.
Alrighty, and Allie.
Hello, I am Allie. I am bound to the role of Charybdis Mobius.
Alrighty, Minnow.
Hello, my name is Minnow. I am bound to the role of Lady Reverie.
Awesome. Mickey.
Hi, I'm Mickey, and I'm bound to the role of Maria.
And last but never least, Joey.
My name is Joey, and I am bound to the role of Winfrey McNeil.
Do it again.
Is there another lamp, or is it just that one?
There's a chandelier. It's a very small chandelier. I guess I would call it just a ceiling light, but it's like, you can tell it's modeled to look like a miniature chandelier.
Charybdis at this point is going to pull out the wire sphere and pop it into its staff form, and then just tap it twice on the ground, and then just individually, each light on the chandelier just
And you hear the light sound of clapping. And then a spectral visage, I know how to say that word, appears in front of you. And it's this very pretty drow woman. And her ears are actually, they point down a little bit, so they're a little droopy. And she has very long eyelashes and very large eyes. And she's wearing this sort of gothic dress, like a little Bo Peep dress, but black. And her hair is in this sort of messy updo where it looks like it goes into a bun, but just too many strands of hair are falling down from the bun and into her face. And she is wearing very cute makeup that kind of make her lips look a little smaller than they actually are. And you just see her clapping her hands.
Interesting. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Charybdis. Charybdis curtsies towards the visage. And who might you be?
The visage also curtsies and goes,
I'm Antoinette.
Is Charybdis familiar with that name?
make me a history check.
I shall. It's the one intelligence skill that I'm anywhere good at. 16.
Antoinette is Andrew's aunt, who is deceased.
Allow me to make a note of this. I apologize. You said her name is Antoinette.
Mm-hmm. Antoinette Crowley.
Well, it is a pleasure to meet you, Antoinette. Tell me, how do you come to haunt these walls?
Unfinished business.
And what might that be?
Well, I'm simply bored.
Elaborate.
Unfortunately, due to my family's misspent grief, they know that I take the presence of a ghost, but none of them can see or hear me. They are so little the anguish that I am gone that they are incapable of seeing my ethereal form.
Surely you don't wish to be trapped here for eternity.
It doesn't bother me too much. I've gotten to watch my dear nephew grow up. I get to watch my brothers prosper.
She's a drow, right?
Yes.
Charybdis just cocks an eyebrow and says, but that is typically not how your people work, is it?
Well, there are many stereotypes for how drow live their lives.
I mean, the elven people in general. Reincarnation is a large part of your culture.
I do not wish to reincarnate. I like myself the way I am.
I see.
Why would I ever want to be someone else? The idea of reincarnation terrifies me. I don't want to be someone else. I want to be me for as long as I possibly can, and that was taken from me.
Understandable. Then tell me, what is it you want with me?
Well, you're smart. The Crowleys never have visitors unless they're here for business, and only business. Andrew doesn't even have any friends. I need to tell you something, Charybdis Mobius.
And what is that?
I was murdered.
You know by who?
No, and neither does my brother. He watched me die thinking I died of a horrible sickness that he could not help. That is simply not true.
In what way were you murdered?
I was poisoned.
I see. Andrew speaks highly of his uncle's ability to determine cause of death. Why, surely he would have known.
He did not. My murder was the perfect crime. My brothers think I died of a horrible sickness that took my life quicker than I got it. But that's not true.
Would Niveus have any reason to want you dead?
No. Me and Niveus got along better than me and Erwin did, though Erwin still loved me very much. We got along very well.
Who in your family would gain from your death?
It's not my family, but someone else's.
Was it one of mine?
Absolutely not. I would not have spoken to you if it were one of your own.
Charybdis breathes a sigh of relief and says, "Well, to be fair, that would have explained why you wanted to speak to me specifically."
Honestly, Charybdis, and the lights start flickering throughout the room. If it was one of you, I would have made sure you weren't able to leave this house. And then the light flashing stops, and she goes,
With all due respect, if I wanted to leave, I don't suspect you could stop me. How anomalies such as your continued existence here is the whole point of mine.
Fair enough. It wasn't a threat, really. I just like doing that.
and then the lights start blinking again.
I quite enjoy it too. Charybdis' stern face goes back to a smile.
I just sometimes like to be scary.
And she wiggles her fingers.
That's the point of a ghost, after all, isn't it?
Where is your body being kept? In the catacombs, I would assume.
Yes. That's actually why I decided to have a conversation with you. It is dangerous down there, but if you find time, you should take a look.
That is the whole reason we're here. So it works out. Is there some way I could prove to your family that this is how you met your unfortunate demise?
Find my body.
Very well.
The thing about the poison is that over time it doesn't necessarily degrade with the body. In the immediate time of death it's perfect, but over long periods of time, absolutely not. But at this point they already assumed that I died of a horrible sickness, so they didn't investigate it further.
How can I find your body?
Oh, trust me. You'll know. The Crowleys take the burial of their dead very seriously. You'll find it.
Are there other specters down there?
Thousands of them.
I see.
They drive Niveus mad. That's why he works so hard. He's trying to free them all.
She kind of looks around like she can hear something Charybdis can't and goes,
I won't keep you any longer. Goodbye.
And then she just disappears and all of the lights in the room just shut off.
Charybdis takes some time to write some things down in her notebook before pocketing it. Without saying another word, she leaves the room, leaving Taka in there to relock the door, and then calling him back magically when he is done.
And then, real quick, Maria, where did you go?
So she would have taken a bottle of wine and just started wandering around the Crowley house until someone told her to get out of the space she was in.
Yeah, you would walk into a room that was most likely a bedroom, and then a little stone pixie would go, out, 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 out! Then you'd be like, okay. Then you walk into another room that's a bedroom, and then another stone pixie would come and go, out, 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 out! Until eventually you find this sort of loft. And it has a very nice couch, a very nice little side table that has more wine in it, rest assured, and this very old music player that's steadily playing music. You don't know how, as there's nothing in it to be playing off of, no record, no nothing. It's just playing music.
What kind of music?
It's a very pretty mix of piano and violin music, like a duet.
It's just
Okay.
the Crowley thing.
Are there any bookshelves or drawers in this room?
There's a miniature bookshelf. It's 3 feet tall and doesn't have as many books on it. And there's next to the couch a little side table that has a cabinet.
That's the one with the wine in it?
Yeah. Because it's kind of a jar. That's the reason. That's why I told you what was in it.
Okay. What kind of books are on the shelf?
Make me... I know this is a little weird, but make me an investigation check real quick.
Okay. That is 12.
You kind of like look at one and then the title's too long, so you throw it over your shoulder. And then you look at another one and the title's also too long, so you throw it over your shoulder. And you keep going until you find one that just sounds kind of cool, and it's literally called Accounts of Ghost Stories.
Hmm.
Or I should say real ghost stories.
Cool. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna pocket that. I'm gonna like shove it in my bag. And then leave.
So, at this point, it's been maybe about an hour into your 4-hour wait. Was there anything y'all wanted to do before we went to the end of said 4-hour wait? Anything you want to do during said 4 hours?
Yes. Chrono Harris is going to ritual cast Identify on the ring that came out of Winfrey's hand. Which I will give you a description for. No, it's the weird compass thing.
Yeah.
Which Identify will... Have I kept you in suspense?
Yes.
Yeah. You choose one object, magic item or some magic imbued object, learn its properties and how to use them, whether it requires attunement, how many charges it has, if any, whether any spells are affecting it and what they are, and if it was created by a spell, I will learn the spell which created it.
Alright.
So give me the deets.
So, it is not an item that has any particular uses, it is just a magical item. It was made by a sense of transmutation. And it was created by some variation of... Let me double check this to make sure I'm not spewing bullshit.
Fucking true polymorph. It's actually a goat.
That would be fucked up.
Well, to be honest, it is some sort of creating something out of something else. I can't... There's a spell. I don't think it's creation off the top of my head. But I'll say this, Colonel Harris. You can tell that it was created by turning life into object. That is... You joke about that, but...
Oh, so it actually is true polymorph.
Yes, and it's completely irreversible, as it has... The object itself is not alive, but it was created from turning life into object permanently. And it doesn't quite do anything, necessarily. There's no active effect, and it doesn't require attunement because of such. But that compass is still turning very fast. And Colonel Harris, if you even try to put your finger in to stop it, it slices your finger open. Very thin slice, like getting a particularly bloody paper cut, but it does not stop.
I would learn its properties and how to use them, so would I know the purpose of this compass? Or where it comes into play?
Well, you can tell that it's trying to guide you towards something, but obviously you're nowhere close to it, hence why it is spinning.
Yeah, it's doing a really bad job.
Mm-hmm.
Based on the properties, would he know then what it is trying to guide someone toward?
Oh, that's what I was going to tell you. Since it came out of Winfrey, Chrono Harris can gather that if it was in Winfrey's possession, it would have an easier time. It is tied to Winfrey because it came out of her. That sounds weird. That was gross.
Alright. And what is it trying to lead somebody toward?
That you do not know.
Alright. Cool. As for the spells in the library. I assume you don't have them on hand, so
I'll get them
we
to
just
you.
say maybe, yeah, he scribed one during that time. Cool. And that is all he wants to do. He will return to the library after about 2 hours and 50 minutes.
2 hours and 50 minutes. Okay.
Charybdis was actually going to go up to talk to Chrono Harris after she left Antoinette's room or whatever.
All right.
Oh, we have 2 hours and 50 minutes. When you walk in, he is reviewing things and copying them into his book. He has the ring set up nearby. Yada yada.
I have some information, brother.
What might that be, Charybdis?
Well, I had a very interesting chat, with Antoinette Crowley.
Bruno Harris is writing something, and as Charybdis says, Antoinette Crowley, the feather pen he was using, he streaks upward. I see. Goes back to writing. How? I'm assuming a ghost.
Yes.
Bound to the mansion?
Yes.
For the reason of... Harris looks up, taps his chin a couple of times. Unpaid taxes?
Close, but not quite.
Hmm.
Seemed she simply was not willing to move on.
It's usually what creates a ghost, and he will put it down and turn his full attention toward Charybdis.
Well, what I mean is... just... she told me she was murdered.
She...
Chrono Harris, make me a history check real quick.
You know, I would love to. Boom. Ba-da-bop. Fuck. Sucks. It's going to be... one. Total of 14.
Colonel Harris, well, you don't remember the full story as you were very young when this happened. You were 9 when this happened. You're pretty sure she died of sickness, though. That's what was told around when she died, because it was a big fucking deal that she died, but...
Chrono Harris, exhibiting complete and utter faith in his sister's word, says, So she was cursed? Poisoned?
Poisoned, yes. But it couldn't have been an ordinary poison. Nivius would have picked up on that. There's no way he would have overlooked it.
The poison made specifically with their family's capabilities in mind. Must have been another noble who did it.
Must have been, but she told me there was a property to it that basically, even now, it would still be recognizable within the corpse itself or something. She wasn't super clear, but basically that alchemically the poison wouldn't have broken down completely, even to this day.
Bruno Harris would think about the chemical property of precipitation, and does he know any sort of poison that would do this?
Make me, would I say nature, survival? Yeah.
Yeah.
Does Chrono
I would
Harris
also
have
call it an intelligence check. No, he doesn't.
In that case, make me a medicine check.
Yeah. That's a wisdom skill, Chas.
Then make me an intelligence-based medicine check.
Is that really all it took? No, okay, a medicine check, a total of 10.
Chrono Harris, you are no alchemist.
Can I take that check as well? I'm actually proficient. I just looked at my
Yeah,
character sheet.
go ahead. You're both discussing it, so I don't see why not.
Ooh, that's a 18.
So, both of you collectively, Colonel Harris, you're no alchemist, but you do know that there are poisons that are mainly effective when they're used and not too far after, but you can't think of specifics. Charybdis, you read a book one time about a princess that was murdered with a poison that basically made the person ridiculously sick to a point where it was able to mask itself as a sort of mucus or the phlegm as being a side effect of the sickness. As the poison was not a liquid, but a slime that manifested itself as mucus or phlegm or whatever coming from the body. So it was very easily overlooked because it was not considered a poison, it was considered a side effect of the sickness.
Charybdis at this point pulls out her journal and starts writing frantically. This slime, when you say slime, do you mean like the physical material slime, or are we talking a living being like an ooze?
In this case, talking about like a physical component, slime. Just guck.
Okay. Sorry, I'm writing.
You're good.
Charybdis stops writing in her journal and says, "Actually, brother, I think I've heard of this before. In a story that I've read a long time ago, it talked of some sort of slime that was forcibly placed into somebody, and the slime itself appeared very mucus-like, and when expelled naturally by the body, just seemed to be a side effect of whatever sickness they were experiencing. But it would slowly kill them."
Another thing, Charybdis, is in the story it was described that its reaction to the body was to multiply. And that's how it wasn't just the thing that people could sick out and expel.
A slime that multiplies in the same way a virus would.
And until just now, you thought that shit was not real.
I thought it to be fake, but it makes sense.
Common pitfall. Then we could take a sample from her likely dehydrated sinuses and, well, that's it.
That brings me to my next point.
Where's the body?
She told me it wouldn't be too hard to find, but the catacombs are severely haunted.
Well, I suppose we're going down there regardless.
Right, but I suspect that anything that we do down there is going to be perceived as an act of defilement. We should be ready for a fight.
Indeed. I am willing to take such a risk, however. Who do you think would have poisoned Andrew's mother?
Andrew's aunt.
Andrew's aunt.
Well, to be honest, when she was first telling me, I thought of Uncle Erwin, but couldn't be. She specified that it was nobody within our family.
Do any noble families...
Yes,
Wait
the
a
other
minute.
noble family within the wine business. Charybdis snaps her fingers like she's trying to remember. DM, do I remember which major noble house was invested in that aside from the Crowleys?
Make me a history check.
19.
Does not be common knowledge.
Because there's a few of them, that's why I said that.
And Charybdis is kind of dumb, so it makes sense that she'd have me roll for it.
That too. So there's a family that is still actively a part of this business, and a family that tried very hard to be. So, the Trakel family of Viron are very competitive about their merchandise. And it is also common knowledge that Jean Traquel of the Traquel family tried to strike a deal with Erwin to combine their businesses, and Erwin told him to fuck off. There is another thing of the Mir family trying to kind of expand their reaches and change their family's reputation a little bit, and just flat out, on all accounts, it went south. They're still very...
What family?
The Mir family, M-E-E-R. The Mir family also tried to make some kind of agreement with the Crowleys, but it also didn't go too well because the family heads of each respective family, Erwin, Crowley, and Cedric Mir, do not get along. They do not like each other. It's not known why. They just fucking don't.
Charybdis would relay this to Colonel Harris.
Yeah. Well, it's worth considering. Why? No. Yeah, Corners can kind of make a conclusion on why they can't see the ghost. Is Antoinette remaining until her murder is solved then?
I'm not sure. She made it sound like she would be sticking around afterwards, but with issues like these, she might not have a choice.
Certainly.
But I doubt she would have told me all of this if she didn't want us to look into it. I think she wants her family to know what happened, if nothing else.
There's a... Yeah, what's that?
And also, if there was murder between two noble families, that cannot go unanswered.
It certainly falls under your duties as Inquisitor, doesn't it?
It does. I didn't think I would be actually working on this job, but it's good to know.
Of course. You've done splendidly. I'm going to continue my work. How about we keep this within a small circle until more events come to light?
Of course. Although I think I am going to have a discussion with Winfrey. I think her specialized equipment could be very useful if we have to fight undead today.
You're going to see Winfrey. I'll accompany you. She's going to take the compass. I meant to give her this regardless.
Very well.
We're going to go see Winfrey.
And Winfrey, where are you currently?
I fucking left because fuck that shit. I don't know where I went to though.
You know what? I'll roll for it.
Yeah, please do.
Winfrey left the campaign. She's gone.
Yeah, Winfrey
Time to write a
actually
new
quit, and she's gonna fucking vaporize because she broke a contract.
Whoosh.
Alright, so... Winfrey, you, like, wandered around, and you actually ended up in the kitchen, and you're just kind of there now. There was a, like, another big dining room that was obviously for, like, when they had more guests, so it was much larger than the kind of nicely decorated, quaint little one you were in. It was obviously suited for much more people. And then past that, there was a full-ass kitchen.
Whoa.
I mean, like, there are counters on almost every surface. There's this very nice island. There's a metal rack that comes from the ceiling that has, like, a bunch of tools and pans and stuff like that hanging off of it that are very easy to just grab. There's beautiful cabinets that have glass doors so you can see into them that have very beautiful plates and other supplies, and even the cooking supplies are pretty. And similar to what some of you might have seen in the little store at the front of the city you were in, there is a sort of cabinet that also has glass doors, but it basically is a magic refrigerator in a world where the refrigerator isn't invented. But it's an icebox, basically. But it looks like a gothic, cute little wood cabinet with glass view into the thing.
Whoa.
Also, it is spotless. It is perfectly clean. There's like little metal baskets of fruit that are perfectly ripe. No flies, nothing.
This is the prettiest looking red flag I've ever laid eyes upon.
And most of all, Winfrey, there's no ghosty bullshit in here. You think.
That you know of.
Wild.
Winfrey, you actually, like... It honestly feels like there's someone standing next to you, and you hear a voice, like, whisper into your ear.
Your friends are looking for you.
And I'm doing the opposite of looking for you. Get the fuck out of my head.
I'm not in your head. I'm standing a foot away from you.
Oh, now you're really fucking with me, and I'm gonna turn around.
And, like, you see, like, you look in that direction, you see the flash of that same visage, only for, like, 2 seconds. Like, you see her appear, wave, and then disappear.
Bladed gobshite!
Do we hear that as we're approaching?
Make me a perception check. Both of you. Charybdis and Corona Harris.
That's a 5.
Alright, Corona Harris.
16.
16.
You know what? I'm gonna actually have Maria and Lady Reverie also make that roll for me.
20.
Alright, and Maria?
17.
Yeah, so everybody except Charybdis just hears the echoing noises of Winfrey cursing in fear.
Has what's his butt come back up, Alistair?
Oh yeah, Andrew's been there for quite a bit
That's
at
the
this
one.
point.
Yeah, so at this point, Reverie, who also, he got back and she was just like, it's a big empty room and he still couldn't find her for a minute, and eventually found her under the desk and she said that she dropped something. He asked what she dropped and she said, I can't remember, and just went on with the rest of her life like it wasn't a problem anymore. But at this point, I assume that like she's just like sitting around, playing music, walking around the room, just not able to sit still while he's doing science shit. If it's not like big explosive science, but the boring, doing numbers part. And then her head like pops up and she says, when she hears the scream, she says, oh no, you don't have like a sister or brother or something down there, do you?
No, but I did tell them to watch for ghosts.
Oh, okay, good. In that case, Winfrey can't kill them, they're already dead. And I'll go back to doing what I was doing.
Wow.
Reverie said, not my problem.
Reverie said, one of my compatriots was making active death threats against you. I don't know if I want to leave you alone right now.
Colonel Harris halts Charybdis, says, did you hear that?
Hear what?
It may be the overseers. Be careful. And he is going to cautiously wade up as he looks in and just sees, like, Winfrey chilling. Like...
Corona Harris, for a split second, you see, like, inches from your face, like maybe 3 inches, like the visage of Antoinette appear and go, hi there, and then disappear.
Hello, Antoinette. And he will walk in. Are you alright, Winfrey?
Well, yeah, no, I wasn't scared or nothing. Yeah. I was just admiring the fine china and Freezy box thingy.
Harris blinks a couple of times. Yes, I'm sure you were. Yeah. You didn't see the ghost of a woman named Antoinette, did you?
Wait, she's got a name? I mean, no, I never saw any ghost like that, no.
Oh, that's not very nice. I'm still right here.
Wow, crazy wind we've got inside of this here kitchen. Super weird, yeah.
Are you
Winfrey.
gaslighting yourself?
Cronaris wanting to play along for some reason, even he does not know, says, Ghost of Antoinette is right there.
I don't know what's happening all of a sudden.
Do you?
On a
What's
slight
up?
hunch, by the way, Charybdis is going to get a puzzled look on her face. I'm going to attempt to cast message to Antoinette and say hi. Now, message very specifically says you point your finger towards a creature within range and whisper a message. Basically, I'm trying to determine if this ghost is actually a ghost or some kind of weird fucking illusion.
Yeah, you hear? You know, you can just talk to me in person, you know.
Charybdis says out loud, just testing something, sorry.
Well, Winfrey, it's good to see you haven't killed anyone.
Killed anyone?
Does Winfrey acknowledge this?
Wait, what?
Does Winfrey acknowledge Antoinette yet?
I'm still right here.
Oh my goodness, Chrono here is Charybdis. Look, there's a fucking ghost inside of the kitchen. Holy shit.
10 out
Yeah.
of 10.
Needed
Had
to
me on
speak
the
to you
edge of my
about
seat.
I don't understand what's going on right now. I
Isn't
just
that
had a
absolutely
conversation.
crazy? We gotta get rid of this ghost right now. It's haunting the place. It's a bad look for the nobles and such. We gotta vacate the premises and get everyone out of here and kill the ghost. Yeah.
Yes, again, we wanted to speak to you about that.
Wait, what?
Chris will walk up and hand Winfrey the ring. Say, we believe this ghost may have been poisoned. Well, the person of the ghost preceding it.
Right, how'd you figure that one out?
I told them.
Why'd you tell them? What are you doing here anyway? What are you...
Antoinette,
see
can
her-
you leave us for a moment?
I kind of hear everything that goes on in this house anyway, so it's not really different if I leave.
Then can you pretend you're not here?
Oh, sure. And you hear like the active sound of like someone going as if they're gonna hold their breath.
Alright. Are they still standing there? Like, we just see them?
You can't see her, no. Every time you've seen her, she's like kind of flashed in and out.
Okay.
Kind of
Got it.
type bullshit is this?
Alright, what the fuck?
That's Antoinette. Ghost of Andrew's aunt. Died of poisoning. Body in the crypt. We're gonna need to go into the catacombs. Look for the body. Take a sample out of her sinuses. Can you help us?
Why am I the first person you came to when it comes to the whole... Like, why don't we go out in the catacombs anyways? Like, you know...
You seem oddly knowledgeable and enthusiastic about killing people. I figured you were the first choice.
No.
Also,
Ghosts and people, very different things. Ghosts, you can't touch with your bare hands and choke them out, strangle them, break their neck and throw them in a ditch.
right, but you have a weapon that is innately magical, which will be extraordinary.
Well, aye, but it's not made for killing ghosts, though. I mean, it's magical, sure, but it's not, it's not like a ghosty magic weapon.
It doesn't matter. Magic weapons are the only things that can harm such specters.
You're fucking with me, right?
Not at all. I'm being entirely serious.
Out of character, there's no ghost touch weapons in 5e?
No, there's not.
I've been DMing this game for 6 years and had no clue there weren't ghost touch weapons in this game. I've been running them.
any like magic weapon, like +1 magic weapon, is so basically it's just a lot of creatures have resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage, or immunity to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage from non-magical weapons now.
Oh, that's fucking crazy. Okay.
Yeah. We're asking about the person who is now the ghost. Do you know anything about poisons?
Do I know anything about poisons? Well, that's a tough one.
Have you contracted with any of the noble families in license?
And not of my own will.
Elaborate.
Usually if there's a job like that, I'm not the one who takes it. I don't deal with noble peoples. I have a thing with people in privileged positions, if you will.
Hearst blinks to Charybdis and back to Winfrey. Well,
Right, by the way, that would make you the first. Just saying. Yeah.
Am
I able to talk now?
No. Well, we are going to have to go into the catacombs while we're searching for a certain mirror, the scrying mirror, and uncover this crypt. And if you have any helpful knowledge, now is the time to share it.
Well, I'm surprised that, corporeally challenged beings being what they are and whatnot. Usually if you're trying to figure out how someone died and you need to ask the corpse about it, you're only allowed to ask a limited amount of questions. But it seems like if you're working with a ghost that wants you to figure out some shite, then it doesn't really matter too much now, does it? Let's see, what else? Ghosts. They suck. They're cold.
That's not very nice.
They fly around so you can't hit them.
Can't fly.
Well, you might not be able to, but I'm sure there's plenty of others that can.
Oh, that's true. Oh, I'm not supposed to be talking.
Right.
DM, is there some sort of check Charybdis could make to see if she would know the distinction between different types of incorporeal undead, such as banshees, specters, and ghosts?
Make me an Arcana check?
I would love to.
Chrono Harris make this check?
Go for it.
I got a 9, but I'm sure Chrono Harris is going to do much better.
I got you, sister. It's gonna be a total of 24.
Chrono
Girl,
Harris,
keep gaslight gate boss, indeed.
you can tell that, Antoinette specifically is just a plain old spirit. Like, just a flat-out, just ghost by definition. She has no special title tied to her, and Chrono Harris can actually gather that the reason being is because of the fact that she is willing to be sticking around rather than pass on. Because she is not, while she would technically be forced here by the fact that it is not tied to, like, she's being forced here because there's unfinished business in not finding out how she died. But since, aside from that, if she had just died normally and she would still be choosing to hang around, you can tell that that's why there's no, I guess, negative reinforcement behind her being a ghost, is because she is just vibing. And is choosing to be vibing.
Chrono Harris's face darkens. I fear that the worst has come to pass. Dr. Agartha. Dr. Agartha. Manifests. It's time. You have to go and get them.
What are you talking about?
And Dr. Agartha is gonna go and get Lady Reverie.
Also, I just want to clarify, so can we determine what type of I guess, ghost Antoinette is?
She's a spirit.
She's a spirit?
Flat out.
Well, I mean, sorry, I'm speaking mechanically.
If you mean anything relevant to 5e, she would be homebrew purely because she doesn't do much of anything.
Okay, that's fair.
I
How am
mean,
I supposed to metagame? No.
there is just Ghost, like the Ghost.
Yeah, she is just Ghost. She is Ghost, type Ghost, last name Ghost.
I'm actually very specifically trying not to metagame.
Well, because
She's
like
an Oni.
the regular ghost creature, like the bog standard like ghost ethereal being, does have a fly speed, but it can only hover. So that's why I say that. That's like the only discerning factor that we have, aside from the fact that she is corporeally challenged.
It's all
Okay.
Phasmophobia rules. It's all bleeding over from the one shot.
That's
She's just
Does
chilling.
Dr. Agartha go and get Reverie? Maybe find Maria on the way?
Yeah, also Maria, you heard the scream, went, not my problem, and you got a very nice dining set in terms of like knives and forks and such. You got what looks to be like a domed container that has a like raven skull in it that
Wait, she's like looting?
that's what she said. She said missing
Yeah.
things that nobody would notice.
Yeah, Maria's just walking around the house taking like random shit that no one would notice would gone until they need it.
To be fair, Maria was established as taking things that don't belong to her in session 1. So
You also got a really cool pen, and like the main reason you wanted it is just because it sounded good when it clicked.
Hell yes.
And the ink was purple, that was pretty cool.
Ooh,
Evil
nice.
clicky pens.
You also got that book,
Yes.
and then you took another bottle of wine.
What? Yes. Okay. Cool.
What kind of wine?
This one is a white wine. It is definitely different than the ones that were offered to the lot of you. This one came in a silver bottle instead of a like black shiny bottle. This one is a silver bottle.
when we're done with the wine, we can use it to beat werewolves.
I was about to say, yeah, but what kind of white wine? But then I realized you can't really call things after their Italian names in the middle of Kelmbra, can you? Like, there is no such thing as Pinot Grigio here.
Don't you know it's the from the famous elven brewery Stella Rosa?
Ah, yes, the famous dwarven brewery, Budweiser.
Ooh, I like that you implied dwarves are German instead of Scottish. That's helpful.
Budweiser. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of Warhammer fantasy seeping into our D&D.
Oh, man.
Ah, okay.
Please. Free me. Yeah. Dr. Agartha's gonna go get Reverie and maybe Maria and bring them into the kitchen.
well, I'll tell you what. Dr. Agartha goes to get Reverie, and Tak is gonna go find Maria.
That sounds great. They're both in the kitchen.
Yeah, so
I
the lot of
imagine
you
that
reconvene.
Agartha. I imagine that Dr. Agartha finds Reverie when she's holding like 12 books, just to the side of Andrew. It's like she's so excited to be a part of something, and she's holding on to like 12 books in a beaker in the other hand. And then Dr. Agartha comes up and she's like, "Oh, hi, Agartha," and just sets everything on the floor and goes.
Oh,
Just-
all right.
Yeah, Dr. Agartha will lead Reverie by the hand to the kitchen.
Is he holding me by a talon?
Yeah,
Great.
it's like a wing reaching up, just making sure.
I talked to him the whole way.
He actually he really doesn't mind it. Yeah, you have a great conversation in Hoots.
Strangely enough, the whole thing is in Dwarvish.
He does speak Dwarvish.
Yeah. Well, she doesn't, so it's weird.
Yeah, that's true.
So she walks into the kitchen, speaking with a heavy German accent, apparently, and then looks up and says, "Oh, hey, everyone."
Reverie.
When Tak goes to grab Maria, by the way, it's one of those situations where, like, Maria's just vibing, and then just suddenly Tak just fucking sprints into the room, and then just frantically clambers up her clothes, and then, like, gets up on her shoulder, and then just starts pulling on her collar.
It's so funny because Maria's shirt doesn't have a collar, so he'd be kind of pulling on, like, her chest.
Yeah. Well, more specifically, I guess, like, the back of her shirt, then, or whatever.
He's pulling on her tits. Okay.
Violently thrusting into the back of her neck.
Just pulling the strings on the back of the fucking corset or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, like, fucking whips the little lacing on her corset like she's a horse. Just,
Damn.
yeah!
Oh, yeah. How much did you drink? My God.
God damn.
Whoa.
Reverie.
Hi.
Yeah. Can we just yada through? Kroner's gonna explain the sitch
Yeah.
and ask if Reverie knows anything about it.
No, let's do this all in character. I want to spend the next 40 minutes talking about this.
Talking about the same thing that we just talked about?
Yes. Except she's gonna like make you repeat it because she gets distracted.
Oh no.
Okay. Yeah. So, excuse me. Hearing that, she says, "Wow, that's a doozy."
Do you know anything about this?
About what?
Chrono Harris leaves.
I think what he
I
was
don't
going to ask is, you can smite shite, so like,
Well, yeah, but we don't want
do that
We don't
to
want
the
to kill her, right?
evil ghosties.
Right, Antoinette?
Well, not that one, the other ones, in the crypts and whatnot.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. Of course. If you need me to hit things, that's all you have to ask me to do. I don't know that I needed to join the conversation, but I'm happy that you included me.
Well,
Oh, that's right. That brings me to why I brought in Maria. I don't suppose your arsenal of weaponry is capable of doing anything against the spectral foes we will inevitably be facing.
If you're asking if my weapons are special, then no, they're not.
Well, then it's a good day for you because I can help you breathe fire. Actually, fire might be a bad idea. Lightning.
That's better. That sounds
I
great.
can also make your weapon magical if you'd like me to.
You
That
can
too.
make my weapon magical.
Just for a little bit of time.
Oh.
Am I talking out of my ass right now? Let's double check. No, I can do that. It's concentration, up to an hour, and it's a second level spell. So it's ouchy, but it does give you a +1 to attack rolls and damage rolls.
I mean,
And becomes
yeah.
magic is the important thing.
Yeah, but I don't want you to like waste a spell slot on me.
Well, I mean, I guess here's the thing. Are you more comfortable stabbing something or vomiting lightning on them? She looks like she is
Mark analysis?
genuinely asking.
You can't do both, Jess, because they both take an action. That's the problem.
Well, I am more comfortable staying away from something, so
Well, then why don't I... You have a crossbow?
yeah.
Okay. I'm hearing myself echoed, by the way. I don't know if that's gonna fuck up the recording.
I think it's fine. I had to lean forward for a second, that's why. So
Okay, we good now?
So my headset was close to the microphone for a second.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm gonna repeat what I said. I'm gonna say, you have a crossbow, correct?
Yes, I do.
Great. Well, if you want that to be a slightly better crossbow, not that it's not already lovely and you're great with it, you're a delight, but I can make it a little better.
I'll keep that in mind.
Great. I love non-committal plans because they're the only ones I can remember. Granted, I can't do it today. We would have to wait till tomorrow.
Oh, well, I can do my thing right now.
I think at this point, Andrew comes down from upstairs and walks into the room because he can hear y'all talking here and goes, "Well, I believe it's almost time. It'll actually take us a little bit to get to where my uncle works." I apologize if I interrupted the conversation.
Charybdis flips out the wire sphere into the staff again and taps it on the ground and says,
Not at all. Lead the way.
Right. And he leads you through the house, into the very back of it, so past the kitchen, into this little, I guess another lounge area that would normally lead out to the backyard.
Quick thing, by the way, because Groove said Chrono Harris had walked away, Charybdis is going to cast message to tell him to come back.
That way he's
Yeah,
with
he's
us.
there.
He's at the fucking table. And when you think that you'd be going into like a backyard area, because it's obvious that this is a little loft that before exiting into the back courtyard, Andrew makes a hard left. And there's a large door that looks like it's made completely out of stone. And he kind of wedges his fingers into the side of it and pulls it sideways.
Creepy.
This was my uncle's choice, not mine.
Oh, I'm sure.
And he steps in, and it goes door and then immediately stairs. And at the very top there is a torch, and he lifts it off of its thing. I think it's called a scone. I don't care.
Yeah, sconce.
Sconce. And he looks
scone.
behind him and goes, "Well, follow, just be a little careful." And he starts making his way down the steps.
Charybdis will follow directly behind Andrew.
Does everyone else follow as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
No. Just kidding.
Yeah. And whoever the last person is to follow through, you'll notice that almost the moment you touch the steps, the door closes on its own.
Fascinating.
Oh, haunted places are haunted. Okay.
And as you're making your way down the steps, it is a long, winding, just staircase that goes down and twists. And again, Andrew sort of looks around and just, after about a good 3 minutes of walking down, you start to hear distant muttering that's echoed, just giggles and, well, now I gotta organize all my things, and just muttering coming from the distance. And at some point the staircase ends and it goes down this sort of long hallway. The walls, rather than being the pretty walls of the estate, are now these stone walls that are just bricked upward into a sort of arc. It's not very tall. It maybe goes up to 7 feet. So, since most of you are about 6 feet tall, kind of reach in. It's pretty close to your head now. And it goes down. You see a rat or two. I wouldn't say it's dirty, just very dark. And it smells weird. I wouldn't say it smells bad, but it's a very peculiar smell that sort of hits your nose once you reach this area. It smells like a mix of incense and dirt, like mud. And you make your way down, and there's this door that is also stone, but looks like it has a proper handle. And there's a little hole with, like, stained glass that's really hard to see through. And Andrew just lifts up his hand that isn't holding the torch and taps on it with his fingers. And this light sort of radiates from where he touched it, making a knock sound. And then you hear, like, all the noise from in the room stop. And, like, the slamming of what sounds like glass. Not the breaking, but just, like, someone loudly setting a glass cup down. And just, what? And then you hear shuffling. And then you actually hear glass breaking this time. And then you hear the sound of, like, squeaky wheels. And then you hear a metal slam. And then a giggle. And then, like, 7 locks on the door unlock. And then the door opens, and there is a very tall, very weirdly dressed man standing in front of the door. He is about 6'5", and I actually have an image of him, so let me grab it.
This man is tall.
He is large, yes. References. It is unfortunately not a colored picture, but or it will be in the episode. Yeah, so he's a man that is wearing these very circular red-tinted glasses. You can't really see his eyes through them, and he has really fluffy, wispy hair that once it kind of goes past its jaw, it immediately straightens. And it goes all the way down to his waist, and he's wearing what looks to be like what we would all know as like priest robes, but not necessarily. Very modified, and he's wearing robes, and he has lip piercings, and he's wearing a bunch of necklaces, and he has multiple piercings, one of them being a cross, which in this world means nothing, it's just for fashion. And he is grinning very widely as he opens the door, and he goes, "Oh, it's my nephew! How are you? Who are these people? What are you doing?"
Nivius, we've met before.
Oh, he, like, adjusts his glasses. Like, he pulls them away from his face, and then back, and then away, and then back, and then away, and then back. And he goes, "Oh! It's the twins!" And he, like, does, like, finger guns, but he's using 2 fingers instead of 1. So it's just, like, pointing peace signs at you. And he's like, "Oh! Andrew, what are they doing here?" "Uncle, they needed your assistance. I'm busy. I know you're not busy right now. I'm always busy." "Yeah, come in." And he opens the door more. And, like, his robes sort of drag along the floor. And he goes, "Oh, yeah, I was not ready for visitors. I told you about this, Uncle." "Shh! I'm never ready for visitors." "Oh, boy. Chairs! We need chairs! That's what people do when they meet each other, right? Chairs." And you see him, like, wandering around, and you see him, like, pick up a book, and then, like, blow on it, and a bunch of dust fluffs up, and he goes, "Ug's that been there?" And then he sets it down, and he pulls out, he pulls out a wheelchair, and he goes, "Sorry." And then 2 actual chairs, and then you see him, like, kind of go over to the other side of, like, what looks to be, like, a weird futon, and he, like, folds it back into a couch. And it works really funny, because there's way more gears and bips and metal bops than necessary, but they're there, so it makes weird cranking noises as he folds it back up, and then he pulls it close so that way 2 people can sit there, and then he looks around and goes, 1, 2, 3, yep, that's enough. Have a seat!
Before they sit down, Charybdis is just going to rub her hands together, kind of like holding the wire sphere between her legs on the end of the staff before she spins the staff itself, and on just behind her, just a bunch of cog wheels begin to appear, as dust is lifted off the furniture and deposited in the shape of small bunnies just nearby.
Oh, cute.
And then Charybdis will take a seat on the futon.
Please, 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 sit. Sit.
Also going to collapse the staff back into the sphere. Put it back on her hip.
Yeah, and his hair is like this sort of dark, almost purple pink color. And he has the same skin tone as Andrew. And you can't really see his eyes because, again, he's wearing the rose-tinted glasses. And he sort of, like, gets, like, a very weird-looking glass container and takes out a flask and pours into it, then takes a long swig and sets it down and goes, "Ah, well now. Andrew, out, Uncle's doing business." And Andrew goes, okay. I will leave the torch in front of this door. If you needed to see your way out, go ahead and use it. It was nice seeing you all and meeting the rest of you. Have a good day." And he sets the torch in the sconce and he leaves.
Was it really?
We need to get
Nivius.
into the catacombs.
What?
We need to get into the catacombs.
Ah, I see. Now, and like he's like not looking at the lot of you. He's actually walking up to the wall that has a bunch of like little square compartments on it. You see him pull one down, and then like pull on a lever in it, and like it's just a rack with a body on it, and you can tell that he's trying to work while having this conversation. Oh, yes. Why do you need to get into the catacombs exactly? I am the one who takes care of all of that. I can't just let anyone down there, you know. That's dangerous.
We're looking for a mirror from a storybook.
Okay, why?
Because we needed to find a mythical continent.
I like this story already. And he I actually might have to devote my full attention to this. And he slams the thing back into the wall and turns around. And he overlays his fingers together and then rests his chin on his folded fingers and goes, "Tell me more."
And that's about all there is to it.
Ah. Well. It is very dangerous down there. Are you sure the lot of you will be able to handle it? If you
Yes.
die, that's going to be very annoying.
We won't.
What sort of item are you looking for and from what storybook?
Chrono Harris probably scribed the thing he saw into his own book. So he opens up his little storybook, flips through the schizophrenic writings, across all the pages, and he pulls it up. It's like a bibliographic reference. It shows the cover of the book, and Chronos will explain this as well. It's looking for the scrying mirror and the ghosts it finds.
The scrying mirror and the ghosts it finds. Oh, shouldn't bother. Yes, He scratches his head with the singular finger and goes, "Are you even sure it's down there? Well, it could be. Oh.
One way to find out.
Yes. You best be really careful, though. Listen.
Can you let us into the catacombs?
I will let you go down there if you do me a favor.
What do you need done?
So, at the very end of the catacombs, I don't even venture that far down there because it's too goddamn dangerous. However, something recently has happened that has made it increasingly difficult to do my job. There is a mechanism at the very back of the catacombs. Now, a reminder that the Crowleys did not build this, we were simply given responsibility over it. There is reason to believe that there is something trapped back there. Now, I don't want you to kill it. I don't think you can, and quite frankly, I don't want you to even try, because I don't want any of your cute little faces to get hurt. However, there is a mechanism that keeps these things bound, and I've noticed that age is starting to, well, make that a little harder. I can hear the gears grinding, and like you see his like face scrunch up on one side, even now of it breaking. I give you the tools to go fix it, and no spooky things get out.
I agree. Where are the tools?
You like see him go, 1 second, and he walks to this chest in the back of the room and opens it, and you see him like tip his body into it, and it looks like he goes down way further than what the size would imply. And you see him take out a few things, a leather bag, what looks to be like a lever not attached to anything, and then a few other miscellaneous tools, and then he pops his head back up and goes, Dusty! And then close the lid of the chest, and then walk over, and he like looks between the lot of you and goes, fuck it, and hands them to Chrono Harris and goes, there is a lever down there that basically is the main device that keeps whatever down there that far back. And they just need to be replaced. Now keep in mind, doing a quick taking it off and a shimmy here and a shimmy there to replace it will not open the mechanism if you do it carefully.
Mm-hmm.
There is one little lock that if it is tripped, the whole thing will open. It's fairly easy to avoid. I've had to replace it once or twice, but that was over 100 years ago, so it needs to be redone. But this time,
are there any other cases in which the mechanism would open?
Not necessarily, unless it's broken entirely. It should be fine. I don't think I'm getting to it too late.
What manner of creatures are these?
He looks at Charybdis, like his head turns and you hear the bones crack, and he goes, I don't know. When we were given charge of the catacombs themselves, especially after I took place over the work, I was told specifically not to let it open ever. And so I haven't. But when I go down there, I hear things. Not whispers, not the ghostly wails and screams of the undead begging to be set free, no. I hear sounds of what sounds like a monster. Roars and growls and rumbles of throats. I don't think it's a dragon, because I feel like if it were a dragon, it would have just made me into some nice filet mignon.
Has it attacked you?
No.
Why?
But whatever it is effectively trapped back there. Now, this gate is very well reinforced and is magical by some expanse. It's half mechanical, half magical. The magic just keeps it from aging as fast as it could, and also keeps the creature from just straight up breaking it. But if that gate opens, it gets out.
Alright. Theoretically, if there were to be a mirror in these catacombs, where would it be?
Oh, well, I don't right know. Now,
Think about it.
I know about the stories. I've never heard of anyone trying to go find it. However, we do have a bit of, he starts clapping, goes, nobility, buried down there. There's exactly maybe 3 sarcophagi I could think of.
Do you have a map of the catacombs?
A map? Only so far. There are definitely more unscripted areas. Let me go get it. And you see him go through more shit on his desk and stuff like that, pushing over things and tools, and then he grabs a rolled up, very old looking scroll and goes, aha! And he sort of like shimmies over to Chrono Harris and hands it to him and goes, now, I made this map, and it goes about as far as I've gone.
Cornelius pulls out a inkwell and feather pen. Mark these 3 sarcophagi on the map.
And he will do so. You notice that there's actually one that's by the very back of the catacombs. And then 2 sort of off in the same chamber, a bit of a ways away from that back thing. And then he marks an area as well and goes, now this, I don't want you to go in here.
Why is that?
These are where people of the Crowley family are resting. Now, I don't think there's any problems going on in there, which is why I would like it to remain untouched.
We won't touch it.
Thank you.
Is there anything else? He looks at everyone. Looks back. Oh. I need you to sign this as well. Cronahurst looks down, and he sheepishly slides over a paper that is, in fact, this man's research paper.
For what?
Cronahurst looks away.
Noticing this, Lady Reverie looks up and says, it's actually for me. I'm a huge fan.
I'm a fan of yours, yes.
Oh! You see, his face, it's not natural, but, his face light up with this pink, like someone took an airbrush and painted pink on his face. It goes, oh! Well, why didn't you just say so? And he's rubbing his cheeks, oh, okay.
We need to be going. Will you please sign it and, well, yes.
Yeah, he reaches down and signs it, and then goes, well, I can lead you to the catacombs entrance.
That would be appreciated. Cornelius will put everything away, keep the map out. Dr. Agartha, do you have any lanterns around here?
Who, me?
Yes, you.
There will be some by the entrance of the catacombs. I have them all set up because if I bring them back with me here, I'll forget them.
Very well. Lead the way.
Yeah, and he leads you back out of the way you came, taking the torch and leading you back upstairs. And as he's leading you up there, he's just kind of rambling. At some point, you lose the plot of what the fuck he's talking about because he just goes.
Cronus is listening with intent.
And he's talking about his work and all the hard work it goes into the work, how he one time investigated a queen dying and how he figured out how she died and it was sick as fuck, and how he one time was asked to figure out how a dragon died because it fell out of the fucking sky.
Charybdis is going to hang back a bit and get Maria's attention and just say, so, level with me. How much have you taken?
Talking about.
You know what I'm talking about, and it's fine. I'm not angry. I'm just... There are ghosts down here, and they don't take kindly to sticky fingers.
I'm not an idiot. I wouldn't take something from a grave.
Well, I don't know. You have to keep in mind I have not known you for that long. I believe you. I want to make that very clear. But just be careful. That's all I'm asking.
Yes, of course.
This is related to my line of work, actually.
The dead?
Well, anomalies like this in general, but yes. The undead is certainly part of that.
Sounds rather boring.
It can be sometimes. There's
been a lot of meetings I've had to sit in on. But for the most part, it's... Well, I haven't seen much excitement since I took the position, but since I started traveling with all of you, it's been a lot more direct, shall we say.
Sounds like you have to get out more.
Something like that, certainly. Primarily, I was used as a consultant of sorts, and Chrono Harris would advise me on a lot of these things, but that's mainly because nothing serious, at least in the eyes of the nobility and the different kingdoms, has risen to the surface, so to speak. The reason I bring this up is because I'm concerned as to whatever the hell may be back at the end of these catacombs.
Probably some kind of creature that's being held there against their will.
Right, but for over 100 years, that is a long time. Well,
It's really not that long.
For most living things, that is a long time. I'm aware there are exceptions, but most of them are either magical or gifted in some other way. You can see where I'm going with this, I hope.
Actually, no, not really.
I'm worried that whatever's back there might be some weird magic abomination.
Huh. Okay. And what exactly do you want to do about it?
I don't know yet, but I've been to other catacombs, and they're not typically haunted. I think the two things might be connected, but whether or not that's true, that's more my brother's forte. If
Maybe
this
you should
creature
ask him
has...
about that.
I definitely will once he's finished with his own conversation. What I'm worried is perhaps that this creature might have some way of feeding on the presence of undeath, or creating it even. After all, just because something's captive doesn't mean it's powerless.
Right. But didn't the whatever uncle dead guy is, didn't he talk about going near it before?
He said he's replaced the parts on the containment, so that leads me to believe he's been near it before, but he also said that he tries to avoid it when possible.
Well, if he can do it without a problem, I don't think we're gonna have a problem with it.
You misunderstand. If we come across this thing and it is something sufficiently dangerous, I will be honor-bound and obligated to take care of it.
So, that's what this is. You're warning me that you're gonna kill this creature if it gets out?
I'm warning you that I might have to kill it regardless of whether or not it gets out.
Why would you have to kill it if it gets out? If it doesn't get out?
Because that is the duty of the Grand Inquisitor. To deal with threats that are on a grander scale. If we determine that this creature on the off chance it does get out, could cause untold devastation, for example, I cannot allow it to live. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean I plan on taking care of it today regardless, although if it gets out, then that will definitely shift it up in my list of priorities. But just thought you'd want to know, I guess.
Sorry, I don't. Can you tell me why you think I think this is important to know?
Because you strike me as the sort of individual who prioritizes her own self-preservation and not getting involved with things that you don't have to.
And what exactly has made you think that?
I suppose your non-committal approach to things. You don't seem like somebody who has a lot of ties.
Non-committal. Funny. And then she's gonna just walk past a few people to get away from you.
Hi, Maria.
Hello.
Colonel Harris at some point finishes listening to Andrew's uncle and will let a small smile slip as he puts away the paper.
At some point, Lady Reverie will go over to Winfrey, having noticed that she's kind of talking to herself and trying not to seemingly freak out. Lady Reverie will go over to Winfrey, noticing that she's kind of muttering to herself about the different various haunted elements of this catacombs, and just not intentionally sneak up behind her and go right up next to her ear and go, "Hey Winfrey, you okay?"
Oh, thank God it's just a demon. Oh, how are you?
Oh, I'm good. Are you good?
I don't know if you've noticed, but if I can't touch it, it makes me upset.
I have not noticed that, but now that you mention it, I notice it in retrospect.
Ghosts and me don't exactly get along. I'm not a necromancer by trade or anything like that. Then they talk to me and I can't talk back sometimes.
You've run into ghosts before?
Oh, yeah. That's why I know I don't like them.
Oh, well, that's fair. I've run into ghosts a lot. Yeah, a lot. It's hard to say how many. Somewhere in the quadruple digits. So, if you just stick by me, ghosts love me. We have a great time. So just stick by me and they'll be okay.
Right, oh, sure.
I pat you on the head.
Don't
came to
ever
an
do that
understanding,
again.
darling. Good to know. I pat you on the shoulder.
Oh, you're a line crosser, that's what you are.
Which lines would you not like me to cross?
Any of them.
Okay, well there is one thing I can do. Because when I did that, I actually cast protection from good and evil on you. And that does require me to touch you.
I'll allow it.
That's what I figured.
Keeps
Like I
the
said,
ghosties
save my
out.
note. It does.
And very suddenly, Nivius just goes, "And we're here!" And that was also the time that I prevented a heart attack of the king. Were any of you listening? That's fine.
Colonel Harris was listening.
All right.
There are lanterns here?
Yeah, so he actually... Okay, I apologize. Gonna do a little bit of descripting. As you were all walking down, you actually left the Crowley estate, and he led you down the street, and you were walking for quite a bit, though you were making conversation along the way, And at some point, the road sort of stops and goes into just nothing but a drift of snow. And even though you're not necessarily leaving the city or even really remotely far away from any buildings or whatnot, this is sort of off the road, and you see this perfectly, just perfectly rectangular building. Just no decoration, no fancy roofs, no windows, just rectangle shape coming out of the snow with a door. And Nivius takes out this very old key ring with a bunch of skeleton keys on it, and he tries one and goes, nope, that's not the right one. Then tries another and goes, oh, that's not the right one either. Then finds one and goes, I think this one's it. And you see him stick it in, and then just a loud cranking noise, and he pushes the door open. And then he kind of stands in and holds the door open and goes, well, everyone in, everyone in.
Going inside.
Ooh. Do we want to establish a marching order?
Sure.
I guess actually,
How
wide are the catacombs?
Well, this is a sort of starting room. So it's about the size of a normal room. It's like 20 feet across and then 10 feet long. So you have enough room in here before you need to establish a marching order.
Okay.
And Nivius leads you in and then closes the door and goes, so. You see him walk over to the corner of the room, as it is really dark in here, but it seems to not bother him, and then you see a lantern flare to life with a blue flame. Ah, shiny. Okay, so. Who wants to take the first lantern? I can give you two of them.
Chrono Harris slips his two fingers. Dr. Agartha is going to fly on in, take it in his talons. Bring it to Chrono Harris, who will invoke the memory of the lovely candle with which he used to read books in his library, and in his hands a softly glowing light will appear, which he will place into the lantern.
Alright, and who's gonna take the second one?
Reverie cannot. So, Winfrey,
I need both hands for my sword.
you can drop it.
He kind of like rotates and hands the lantern out to Maria. Milady?
I don't like the idea of carrying one, but I will carry one if it's the absolute necessary.
Can
Can I?
Can
You go
Charybdis
ahead.
strap it to her belt?
That's literally what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The second one is a lot smaller than the first one.
Yeah, Charybdis will take it and strap it to her belt.
Nice.
Alright,
Yeah.
so a few warnings. The first bit of your trip might not be so dangerous. It might just be ghosts that are too social or too annoyed or not violent, shall I say. But the deeper in you go, the more dangerous it'll get.
As in, the closer to the creature, the more dangerous it'll get.
Yes. I actually don't know if the two are connected. I just know that the spirits down there, once you reach a certain point, become a little unsavory, and I can't tell if it's because of how old they are, why they're there, considering a few wars have taken place through license, or if it's because of their proximity to the beast.
You said
Right.
there were a few warnings?
Yes. The creatures down there are undead, so I'm going to ask you, are you all equipped to be fighting undead?
Most definitely.
And the third?
It's about the creature. When you get closer and you hear cries for help, or a creature offering you something, do not listen. While I mostly hear just monstrous noises, sometimes I do hear a voice, like it's trying to mimic speech, as there's only one creature down there. Do not listen.
Nivius, you do know I've taken the role of Grand Inquisitor since last we spoke, yes?
I do.
And you're aware of the implications of that?
I'm aware, but do not listen.
Is the creature directly in the way of the mechanism, or will it tempt us away from it?
I don't exactly know what it'll try to tempt you to do, but it might try to get you to convince you to free it.
Will we be able to interact with the mechanism without being attacked by the creature?
Yes. It is the mechanism that keeps it trapped after all, so having to get past the creature to get to it would be rather stupid.
Smart. Yeah. Alright, let's go.
And he walks towards the end of the room, and just, you see him tap a long pointed fingernail against the wall 3 times, and then the wall slides open into just a dark hallway. And he steps to the side and goes, "Be careful."
How wide is the hallway?
The hallway's about 15 feet wide.
15 feet wide? Okay. Should we go 2 by 3 or 3 by 2?
Go 2 by 3. Classic.
Okay.
I also vote 2 by 3.
So we will have Charybdis and Chrono Harris in the middle. Let's say...
Both of the people with the lanterns? Or no, Agartha can be above us.
Yeah. Then we'll have Maria in the back. Please stop me if anyone contests this. Then Reverie in front. And would Winfrey like to be in the front or the back?
Probably the back.
Alright. And then Dr. Agartha roughly to the right of Reverie. Flying up overhead.
I think Charybdis would prefer to be in the back and then have Winfrey be in the middle.
Just Winfrey consent?
As long as I'm towards the back in the middle.
Alright.
Well, and Charybdis will justify this to Winfrey by saying, well, that way, no matter what angle you're attacked from, you have a meat shield.
Don't matter to me.
Little bit of bone in there too.
Prepare for a letter from my lawyers.
Alright, we're going. We're walking. Dr. Agartha is going to keep the lantern up and a little ahead so we can see forth. Say bullseye lantern or a hooded lantern?
You know those lanterns where it's like just wire with glass in between?
No, I'm talking about D&D items.
Oh wait,
So it's more hooded than it is bullseye.
A hooded lantern, you can put a hood over it. A
Yeah.
bullseye lantern, you can open like a slot in it.
Yeah, it's a hooded lantern. I was also just
Hooded
describing it to you for visual sake.
Alrighty, we're going.
Hello everyone, this is your DM speaking, and thank you so much for watching the 20th episode of Rollbound. I'm going to kind of interrupt the ending sequence here and Minnow's Meme Corner to kind of give a few announcements. For one, the next few episodes are probably going to be a little weird and disjointed. Some time ago, when we were first recording this episode last year, we were having a lot of issues with the audio files getting corrupted because I was running out of space on my computer, and that kind of caused the audio files to try to compress themselves, and they were borderline unrecoverable. I'm going to recover as much as I can, but I might have to make some little videos explaining, videos and audio files kind of explaining what happened in these sessions as they're going into the Catacombs dungeon. But otherwise, thank you so much to everyone who waited for us to return when I had a kind of mini computer crisis. We are back to regular sessions, and we're going to start getting back to regular uploads. I know there's been a lot of drama with Wizards of the Coast and all that with custom content. We are still working on CGTK, although I do have a project that's kind of slowing down the making of CGTK, but honestly, I'm really excited for it, and I really hope that we can make something cool and fun. But thank you so much, everyone, and we will see you in episode 21. Thank you so much.